Hi, in this video, we will see method in Java. What is method and what is the purpose of method? We will see in Java. So method, a method is a collection of statements that perform some specific task and return result to the caller. So method means a collection of statements, means some code, you can say some lines of code. So collection of statements that perform some specific task and return result to the caller. A method can perform some specific task without returning anything also. Here I'm saying it will return result to the caller. So without this also it can perform. There is no rule that it has to return something to the caller. It purely depends upon our requirement. Methods allow us to reuse the code without retyping the code. So this is the biggest advantage. So you have something that is frequent, means you want to use the same thing again and again. So for that, you no need to write this same code again and again. So because of that, you can create a method that you can keep calling that method whenever you need. Okay, it will simplify your job. You cannot write a method inside a method. So you are writing a method. Inside that method, if you try to write another method, it will not allow. But you can call a method from another method. So you have two methods. From one method to another method, you can call, but you cannot write. Okay, so this is the basic information about method. If you see this one, like you see public, this is a simple method. Okay, public int max. We have written public static void main, right? It is very similar. Here we do not have static, but you can put static also. The purpose is different. So public int max, these are called in the bracket. We have given till now only normal brackets, right? So whenever you write some method, it is normal bracket. Otherwise, public static void main. Inside that you have string args, right? So the same way you have int a comma int b. These are called parameter list. So this is method name. These are parameters. This is called modifier, and this is called return type. I said return type, right? There is no rule that you should have return type. Without return type also, you can create a method or write a method. So these are all statements. These are all statements. Okay. So from here, after the method, you will start this curly braces. After writing your code, then you will end your curly braces. In between, whatever it is there called body of the method. So inside this body, you have these statements, collection of statements. Okay. So this is return type. Sorry, this is modifier. This is return type. This is method name. These are parameters. And this is the body of your, these are all statements, collection of statements. Okay. So if you talk about the modifier, modifier defines access type of the method. That is from where it can be accessed in your application. We have 4 types of access specifiers, means just now we discussed, we can call one method from another method, right? We can call a method from another method. But while calling, that is not a straightforward. There are some rules. So what is that? If it is public, you see I mentioned here public. Instead of public, I can put protected, I can put private, I can put default. Okay. So, but what is the difference between when you put a specific modifier? Public, accessible in all the classes in the application. You created an application. Inside that application, you have 100 classes. Okay, so many classes. But if you create a method with public, you can call that method from all the 100 classes. Wherever you want, you can access that. Okay, so that is what public. If you talk at protected, accessible within the class, so where you created that method, inside the class you can access. Apart from that, in which it is defined and its subclasses. Subclasses means the topic is called inheritance. So you are getting some information from another class. Okay, so that we will see in our upcoming classes or videos. But here, one class is getting some values from the another class. Okay, so that is when you have protected, then you can use in your subclasses also. Okay, Private, very restricted. Private, accessible only within the class in which it is defined. So if you create a method inside one class, you can access only in that class. Outside of that class, you cannot access. Okay. What about default? Default means declaring or defining without using any modifier. Means if you want to mention that is default, no need to mention any modifier. Okay, if you are not putting public, protected, private means by default it will become default. This accessible within the same class and a package within which its class is defined. So within the class, how you do in the private, you can do. Apart from that, this class is inside a package, let's assume. So inside the package, you have some other class also. In those classes, you can access. Okay, that is the visibility of this default. So at this point of time, it may not be clear, but going forward, you will understand everything. So what do you mean by return type? The data type of the value returned by the method or void if does not return a value. So here, after executing this code, it will give you the output in the form of integer. Okay, if a greater than b, return a, means it is giving me a back. What is this a? Integer. So once it is executing this set of code, it is giving me an integer back. So when you are giving some integer back, so you need to mention I am getting integer. You need to mention in the method that after executing this code, I am getting the output in the form of integer. Okay. So to mention that, you'll write the return type. After executing everything, if it is not giving anything, okay, if it is not returning anything, then you need to mention void, void, public static void, right? That void is means it will not return anything back to the caller. Okay. So with the examples, you'll understand. But so this is called return type. Method name. It is the name of the method to identify that, right? Without name, how you can access, how you can call, right? How you can write even. So rules for fields names apply to the names as well, right? We already seen in one of our previous videos about naming convention, right? There we have discussed how to write a method name. Parameter list. Comma separated list of the input parameters are defined, preceded within their data type, within the enclosed parenthesis. We have seen in the bracket int a comma int b. Those are called parameter list. If there are no parameters, then you must use empty parenthesis, right? The parenthesis, the bracket is mandatory. If you do not have anything in the inside, that means there is no parameter list. Okay. So method body, it is enclosed between braces. The code you need to be executed to perform your intended operations, right? While you write the set of statements, you have something to execute, right? That will be your method body. So how many types of methods you have? Simple method, method with parameters, static methods, methods with return type. Okay, we'll see in detail one by one in our upcoming videos. Okay, simple method, method with parameters, static methods with return type. Okay, so what could be the possible interview questions from this? What is method? What is the purpose of method? What is return type in Java? Explain about access modifiers, public, private, protected, default, all these things. You might get these kind of questions. Okay, so that's all in this video. Thank you. Hi, in this video, we will see simple method in Java. Okay, how a typical method will looks like in Java. So for that, let me go to Visual Studio Code. I have created a class called simple method. Okay, so inside this, instead of means we need some statements, right? So this is also main method. Okay, so inside this system.out.println, I will write some code. Okay, let me copy this one. So I'll write my name is Krishna Sakinala. Okay, and then what I'll write here, please like Please like the video. Again, what I'll do, please share the video. Okay. And then again, I'll write some more things. Please subscribe to the channel to support me. Okay, I have written something like this. And again, thanks for subscribing to the channel. So I have written some statements here. System.out.println. So when I try to execute this, let me execute first. We'll see. You see that it is giving me all the output here. For some reason or some purpose, I want to execute same these 5 lines of statements again and again and again. Multiple times I want to print this information. Okay. So what I'll do, I can copy this. I pasted this. Simple, copy paste. This time it will execute 2 times. It will give me 2 times. You see that? Sorry. Save and execute. You see that my name is Krishna. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, thanks for, and again same thing. If I want again, I can copy paste again, simple. But is it a good way to do this? How many times you how many times you will copy paste this? I want 100 times. 100 times, 100 into 5, 500 lines of code you write. And some reason, I want to change something in this. Instead of thanks for subscribing to the channel, I want to change thank you for subscribing to my channel. But if I want to change this simple thing, I need to do this for 100 lines. If I type 100 times, right? It's not a good practice. Okay. So what you can do for this? Then you can create a method with this information and you can keep calling that. So how you can do this? I will remove all these things. Okay. So I will comment this code. So we'll see the best way to do this. Okay. System.out.println. My name is Krishna Sagnala. I have written, but remaining things I want to move it to somewhere. You can move everything. It purely depends upon your requirement. So outside this method, okay, not inside this method. Okay, outside. A method cannot be written inside another method. We have seen, right? This is a method, main method. Inside this, you cannot create a method, but you can call a method. Okay, so I'll create. We have seen modifier public. Normally we'll use public. We will see in detail about coming videos, but in a typical way, we'll write public void. What I'll do, subscribe to the channel. I have given a name to my method. Okay. Inside this, what I'm doing, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel. So this is a method. Okay. So we have, what is this? Modifier, public modifier, void return type. Void means it will not give you back anything. It will not return anything. Subscribe to the channel is a method name. So there is no parameters. If you want, you can put, but it depends upon your requirement. What is the purpose of writing this method? So inside this, I have written this information, these 3 statements. Okay. I can create how many methods I want. Okay. Now again, public void, what I can name this, thank you note. Okay, I can say, I'm just giving one hypothetical name. Inside this, what I'll put, Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Okay. That's it. So now what I can do here, instead of writing these many lines, I want these lines right. So these 3 lines went into where? This method. So I can call this method inside this method. So how you can call this method? So if you want to call any method, you need to create an object to that method class. Simple method sm is equals to new simple method. So we have seen in our previous videos, integer I is equals to new integer of 10, something like that. But you need to create a class. This is reference. This is a keyword called new keyword. With the help of new keyword, you will create an object. This is constructed this class. Okay. So we'll understand everything in our upcoming videos. But here you need to create an object to the class, then object dot. So when you say object dot, you will get everything inside the class. So you need to call this method something like this. That's it. sm dot subscribe to the channel. Okay. And the same way, sm dot thank you note. That's it. I'm calling 2 methods. I'm calling 2 methods. Okay. So if I try to run this, you will get the same output. You see, my name is Krishna Sakinara. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you. How it is executing. So the moment when it comes here, so first it will come here. So it will execute this line. After this executing this line, it will create an object. It will go to this method. So the moment when see this method, okay, there is a method, I need to go to inside this method. So obviously it will go to that method. Where is that method? Here. It will enter into this one. It will execute line by line. Okay, this one, this one, this one. The moment when it sees this curly braces means end means, so the method executing is done. So it will go back to here. Okay. Then to the next line. In the next line also it find one method. Okay, let me go to this method. So it will go inside this method. It will execute whatever there inside this method. And after completion of this, it will come back here. Okay. After that, if you have anything, it will execute. After that, it finds ending. So it will come out of that entire thing and it will give me the output. Okay, fine. What is the benefit? Right. If I want these three lines again, then you just call this. That's it. Call again. That's it. So 6 lines became 2 lines. Okay. If you want to do 100 times, 100 into 3, 300 lines of code you need to write. But here you can call this 100 times. Right. Just an example I'm seeing. Okay. If you have some code that is reusable, then create a method, move that logic to that method, and whenever you need, keep calling that. Okay. That is the advantage of method. So when you see that, again, it is coming 2 times, right? This is how you can create a method and you can call. This is very simple. Going forward, without method, you cannot write anything. You cannot execute anything. That important method is. So going forward, each and every program will create a method. We'll try to execute that method. Then it will become very clear. At this point of time, you just understand this. Okay. So this is a simple method in Java. So what could be the possible interview questions? People may ask, what is method? What is the purpose of method? How to achieve reusability in Java? So with the help of method, you can achieve the reusability. Okay. These kind of questions you may face. Okay. That's all in this video. Thank you. Hi, in this video, we will see methods with parameters in Java. So in one of our previous videos, we have seen that how to create a simple method and execute. So in this, we will see with parameters. Okay. For this, let me go to Visual Studio Code. Here I have created a method with parameters. One of the classes I created here. And then inside this, just take an example first. I have some students. I want to print student marks. Okay, just an example. So int A is a subject. Let's assume I have A, B, C, 3 subjects. It will be easy to write. So I'm just saying A is a subject, B is a subject, C is a subject. Let's assume int A is equals to 10. Int B is equals to 20. Int C is equals to 30. Right. So now I say int D is equals to A plus B plus C. Okay. I'm adding all the marks. Now I'll try to print this. System.out.println. So inside this, I'll say total marks, something like this, and I'll concatenate this with a D. Okay, that is total. Right. So let me execute this. Let me execute this. That will give me what? Total marks are 60. Okay, that's fine. But now I want to calculate for another student. Okay. Int E is equals to 40, comma, I'll write in single line. Right, we have seen that how to write. So, comma, G is equals to 60. Okay. Int H is equals to E plus F plus G. I'm adding. Again, I'll say total marks. I'll copy paste here. And then the total marks are what? H. Okay. So fine. I'll try to execute the same thing again. This time 60, I think 150 you'll get. Okay. First student marks is 60. Second student's marks 150. Fine. I have 100 students in my class. Okay. If I want to do this again and again, how many times I'll do? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. I cannot write something like that. Okay. So simply my requirement is I have 3 subjects. With the help of these 3 subjects, I need to add these marks and print that marks. Right. So for that, see, this is reusable, right? Giving these 3 subjects and adding total and printing. This everything is reusable, means repetitive. So whenever it is repetitive, we need to make it reusable. So for that, what I need to do means we will do. So the purpose of method is what? Writing the reusable method. So public void student marks. Otherwise, you can say calculate student marks. Whatever is student marks. So inside this, I want 3 subjects, right? Int subject 1 marks. Okay. Int how many subjects are there? 3 subjects. So I need to pass 3 parameters. Int subject 3 marks. Okay. This is how I need to pass. Parameters means these subjects I'm passing. I need this information when I'm executing this method. I need this information. There is only int. No, it might be double, long, float, boolean. According to your requirement, you need to pass. Okay, here I am calculating the marks. Normally marks will be in the form of integer. So I'm taking. There is no restriction that you need to pass only integers in the method. No, you can pass anything. You can even pass class. Okay. Integer, float, all primitive types. You have reference type, array, list, all these things. Those also you can pass as a parameters. Okay. So now what I need, int total marks is equals to subject 1 marks plus subject 2 marks plus subject 3 marks. Okay. After calculating, I need to just print. So I'll copy this. So total marks are what? Total marks. I'm concatenating this to this string. Okay, I'm printing that. So now it became simple. I keep calling this method again and again. So how you can do that? So I need to create method with parameters MWP. Whatever name you want, you can give here. This reference name you can give whatever you want. You can give something like this random also, some junk also. But if tomorrow, if you revisit your code, you should understand what is the purpose of writing this. So because of that, you will put some meaningful names. Normally it will be method with parameters only, but small m. This is reference, right? You can give something like this in the real time, but for our purpose, simplified, you will say method with parameters, MWP. Okay, so method with new method with parameters. Right. So now I need to call that method MWP dot student marks. While calling this student marks, this method needs 3 parameters. If you put like this, previously we have done, right? Subscribe to the channel. In the previous video, we called subscribe to the channel this way. Nothing is there inside that. So, but if you call the same thing this way without providing these parameters, and if you try to execute this, you will get error. What error you will get? So that is the advantage, right? You see that mp.student marks found no arguments. Reason is actual and formal arguments list differ in length. So it needs 3, but it is not finding anything. Error, method students in class, method with parameters cannot be applied to given types. Okay, this kind of error you will get. So for that purpose, what I need to do, I need to pass these values. First integer value 10, 20, 30. Okay. Once you create an object, you can use the same object multiple times to call the same method. So second time, what are the second student marks? 40, 50, 60. Right, this simple. So you keep calling that method. How many students you have? That many times you keep calling and pass the student marks in this method. Okay. You see that same output. This is without calling this method, the upper code, but after this creating an object and calling that method, passing this student marks as parameters, you'll get the same output. If you have 100 students, you call this 100 times. But here, if you write something like this also, 100 into 3, 300 times you need to do. Here only 100 times. Just an example I'm seeing. Okay. If it is reusable code, if you're using the code in 2 times also in the real time, create a method, push that code to method and call that method. Not 100 times. If it is 2 times also, you need to make a method. Okay, make it reusable. We don't know in the future how many times we need. Okay, this is how you can create a method with parameters. These parameters might be anything. Int long boolean, int double float, whatever it is, whatever combination you want, you can give. Okay, so this is all about method with parameters. So what could be the possible interview questions? The same thing, they may ask what is method, how to achieve reusability in the method, how to pass the parameters in Java. Okay, means method with parameters. Okay, so that's all in this video. Thank you. Hi, in this video, we will see methods with return type. Okay, in our previous videos, we have seen simple method with parameters. Now we will see methods with return type. For this, let me go to Visual Studio Code. I have created one class called method with return type. Okay, so let's take an example. I have an employee and I'm calculating the employee salary. Okay. So for that, I am creating a method. Okay. Public void employee salary. And what could be the parameters for this? So we have seen that what is parameter, how to pass parameter, right? So in our previous video, method with parameters. So int basic salary, I can say. Okay. Then int HRE. Okay. Int bonus. Just an example, right? Okay. So I want to calculate the total salary for that particular employee. So I can say int net salary is equals to basic salary plus HRA plus bonus. Just an example. Now I will print this system.out.println. So total salary is net salary. Okay. Done. I have written a method. So I need to call this method. So to call this method, I need to create an object for this. So method with return type is equals to new method with return type. Okay. And then MWRT dot employee salary. And I need to pass the values. So let me take 1000, 300, 200, something like this. Okay. Now I will try to execute this and we'll see. Java method with return type dot Java. You see total salary is 1500. So this we have seen already in our previous video when you pass return parameters, right? Nothing different here. But I have one more employee. Employee salary. So this guy's salary is 2000, 600, 400. Okay. So this will call this method again. It will add all these things and it will print. So let me execute this. So 1500 for first employee. Second one is 3000. Till here it is fine. Now my requirement is in my company, how much money I have given in the form of salary to all the employees. Let's assume 100 employees are there. Example. So for these 100 employees, how much salary I have given for this month? Okay. So how you can do this? Right. Where will I get this first month, first employee salary, that is 1500, second employee salary is 3000. I'm just printing. So if I want to calculate here, total salary means a total amount paid as salaries, then how can I do this? After executing this one, 1500, it is printing here itself only. How can I get this net salary from this method to this method? No way. Right. If I want to do like this, I need to what? Int net salary is equals to, I need to do 1000 plus 300 plus 200. I need to do this again here. Okay. Okay, fine. I am getting 1500, but how to bring this to here? Right. And 1500 is what? Integer. So I can store in an integer value. Okay. I will store after completion of this execution. I'm getting 1500, right? After executing this entire code, I'm getting 1500. Because of that, I'm printing that. So let me try to put in integer int employee one salary is equals to, right? And the same way, I'll put int emp2 salary is equals to, right? After executing, the output is what? First employee salary. I can store in integer. When you execute this one, second employee salary, I can put here in the form of integer. The reason is the ultimate, the end result is an integer, right? So let me try to execute this. We'll see what happens. Obviously, you will get an error. The reason is incompatible types, void cannot be converted to int. Incompatible types, void cannot be converted to int. What is this void? Right, this is void. The method is returning void. Void means it is not returning anything. Void means after executing of this code, back to the caller, I am not providing any information. I'll just execute, that's it. I'll not give anything back to you. That is what void. But what we are expecting here, integer value. So because of that, what it is saying, incompatible types, void cannot be converted to int. Okay. So then after executing this, I want this information back. So that time I need to return something. Now I'm not returning anything void, but I need to return something. What is that part I want to return? That will be in the form of integer. So then I will change this void to int. Okay, that's it. We'll see. That is sufficient or not. You see that error missing return statement. If this you are returning something means here in this method I'm returning integer. Okay, you are returning integer, that is fine, but you are missing some return statement. So in Java, if you are returning something, you need to mention that with the help of one of the keywords called return. What you want to return here from this? I want to return net salary. Right, that is what you need, right? Net salary. That's it. I want to return net salary from this method after executing this method. So now after executing, what it is giving me back? Net salary in the form of what? Integer. So I'm able to assign that value to integer. Right? We have done everything. So clear. Now if you run this, what happens? Nothing but no errors. Now I can get what? How much amount I am paying as salaries. So int total amount paid. Okay, what is that? EMP1 salary plus EMP2 salaries. Now I can add all the salaries. The reason is I am getting this information in the form of return type to this method. So if it is returning integer, I can store in the integer. So if you have integer here, so I can add these two integer values and I can assign the same thing to another integer. Right. Then what I can do? I can print now system.out.println. What I can mention here? Total amount paid as salaries. Okay, what is that? Total amount paid that we stored in the total amount paid, right? So I am printing that here. So if I execute this now, you see total amount paid as salary is 4,500, 3,000, 1,500, 4,500. So everything executing fine, right? So this is all about returning the statement. Fine. So you can return only integer? No, all primitive types. You can reference types also you can return. Okay. Once you execute here, the output what you want. If you are returning Boolean, then you need to change this to Boolean. What type you are returning? You need to change this method return type to that type. Okay. That's how method return type will work. So let me take an example. Public void welcome, something like that. Okay. Inside that, I have written return statement in starting itself. Okay. Then again, system.out.println. So I say welcome to my channel and please subscribe. I'm just writing one text, okay, sentence. So I have written return statement here, and I'm doing system.out.println. I want to execute. So let me call this method here. Right, how we can call this method here? We have created object, right? Method with return type dot this method, and there is no parameters. I don't need to pass the parameters. But let me execute this and see the output. You see that I'm getting an error. So what it is saying, compilation failed. Give me 1 second. Here you see that. Sorry, I made a mistake somewhere. Okay, I missed this semicolon to terminate. So expected it is saying. So if you miss something like this, it will say error semicolon expected. That is fine. Now I'll execute again. I'll correct that. I'll execute again. You see that unreachable error, unreachable statement. What is that unreachable statement? System.out.println. Welcome to my channel and please subscribe. This is void return type. It's not returning anything. So here also I'm not returning anything. Right? Simply put a return statement, but I'm not returning anything. But it is not coming to the next line and it is not printing this. The reason is always return statement should be end of your method. It should be something like this only. Okay. Return statement should be last statement in your method. So if I do the same thing again, if I execute, you see that welcome to my channel and please subscribe. Now it is executing. The moment it is written, what to return? Nothing is there. If I put 5, return 5. 5 it is what? Integer. So if I run this one now again I'll get an error. The reason is incompatible types. I'm returning integer 5, but the return type is void. There is no compatibility between these two. Okay. Because of that, I'm not able to return. But if you're not mentioning anything, simply return that indirectly void. So there is no need of writing this one waste statement. But to show you how it will behave, that one. Okay. Now we'll take one more example. Public void, otherwise int sum. Okay, sum. And I pass int x comma int y as parameters. And inside that, what I'll do first, I will return x plus y. I'm adding this x plus y and the sum I'm returning. Okay. Return. And then, sorry. And then I'm writing system.out.println again. I am calculating sum of two numbers. I'm calculating sum of two numbers. Right. So when I try to execute this, okay. I need to call this method, okay. So here, dot sum of 10 comma 20, right. So let me execute this again. Again the same thing, error unreachable statement. Why? So in this method, first statement is written. What it is returning? Integer only. I'm returning integer. Everything is fine, but first statement became written. But this is not acceptable. The last statement should be written if you want to return something. So because of that, it is giving me error again. Okay. So let me correct that. Okay. Let me correct that. If I try to execute the same thing now, it is giving me calculating two numbers. So it came here, it executed, after that return. After returning, I'm not using there. That is different concept. We already used that in this calculating salary. But just to show that return statement should be last statement in your method. Okay. This is how method with return type will work. So that's all about method with return type. So what could be the possible interview questions? Again, what is method? How to achieve reusability in method? What is return type in Java? So what is the purpose of return type in Java? So what is the purpose we have seen, right? After executing, I want that value to be used somewhere. So you can return that value. Okay. So that's all in this video. Thank you.